Hey everybody, welcome to the video. So this happens every couple weeks. I get kind of sucked in to Magic on the arena, and I actually messed around with in the historic queue this week, and I was checking out Meria in there and seeing if I had any legs in there with, kind of seeing what's good in standard right now. I don't know if you all know, but Invasion of Tarkir is just a mega card. It is just, I can't believe how good it is in constructed too. Like, what's solid about it is that if you run enough dragons, you're getting like 3 to 4 damage off on it, for that 2 mana, and it's a battle. That card is completely bananas. It's really good. And you know what else is really good with is Terror of the Peaks. That card is insane too. So how I kind of went about that deck is, we're running like the 4 Fable, the Mirror Breaker. I have some Swashbuckler Extraordinaires that are just really good with our double strike and combat dragon creatures. Some Lizard Blades. And you know what else is really good is Beat Town Beamstick. That card is insane too, because if it's in its text, you can deal damage to opponent or a battle, and you'll make the treasure. You don't have to just hit the player. The Beamtown Beatstick, that was from, I think, Phyrexia or one of the newer sets. So maybe the March of the Machine. We'll take a look because it's in this deck, but it's definitely in there. And yeah, so what I did notice about Meria is she does definitely like 0 drops. Like, there's no doubt about it. So if we can run 0 drop creatures that can attack, that is kind of ideal. From my knowledge, there might even be another 0 mana creature that attacks, but like maybe just like an 0/1. I might even consider that, like maybe over one of my 1 drops, just because it kind of is sneaky with some of our equipments. But that is very nitpicky. But I know for sure we have Memnite, Ornithopter, and the Phyrexian Walker. And then we're kind of rounding out our 0 drops with, I believe we have Mishra's Bauble, and I think we also have Urza's Bauble. I have to look though to see if it made the cut or not. But we do have we have some decent amount of 0 drops. We're also running like a decent amount of Mana Dorks, because I do believe it's fine, because we might want to equip some of our equipments onto them and start swinging too, especially if like there just might be like a time where we want them to start attacking. We do have Ember Cleave, so I mean it is possible. I mean, we can maybe even consider some 2 mana Green Ramp spells too, but I think we're okay with keeping it towards the creature and really focusing on getting Mary out on turn 2. That would definitely be ideal. So with that information, we can just kind of go through the cards and the card choices I have here. I would say all the cards here I've tested out to a degree. I'd say that they're all pretty decent. So we're gonna have like our dual face spells that act as lands. I don't know if you've seen these before, but like for instance, Turn Timber Symbiosis. It can also be played as an untapped land, which is very nice, or a spell. This card is just fantastic. Savage Ventmaw. It is just one of my favorite cards, I'd say, in the deck. It just creates just an abundance of mana and really enables some of our nice cards that we have to maybe search up other cards, other creatures, and kind of play them on the same turn, really kind of cascade into more strong creatures. So I really enjoy the Savage Ventmaw. We did get away from the extra combat turns. We're definitely focused on creature-based attacking equipment. We really focused it down. Of course, Goldspan Dragon is just such a fantastic card. It's just great here too. It's going to help us create treasures. Old Gnawbone is just another just whacked out creature that can create a sneaky amount of treasures very quickly and kind of overtake the game from there. Worldly Tutor, this is just a nice tutor card that we can kind of maybe fetch up like a Cityscape Leveler, like, turn 4, turn 5, kind of get that into our hand and then cast it and take care of something that's troublesome. Then we're going to talk about kind of the equipments that I have in here. These 1-mana equipments like Prime Blade, B-Town Beanstick. Those are definitely, in the deck. They have the ability to pay for themselves with Meria and really get our mana generation going through treasures. Love Urza Saga, just a very cool card that we can, I think, playing on Urza Saga like on any turn, but preferably like turn 2. I think it's good for this deck because we can kind of sink our mana into it and make some constructs as well. Here's Memnite. What a cool card. Just a 0-mana 1/1. I just think this is my favorite art like of all time. And I love it. Looks like it has like some it looks like these are like kind of swords. They're legs obviously, but just this art is just my favorite. It's such a whacked out card, like a 0-mana 1/1. It's so just insane. Like, and it I love all the flavor on here. This is like, I'd say like this card, just kind of seeing it and sticking with it and kind of seeing it over time. This is like my favorite card, bar none. Like Memnite is just this is like where I think Magic cards should be. Like the thought, the art, like the cool flavor text, the simplicity of it, and the sheer power of just like a 0-mana 1/1. I know it sounds crazy, but all the synergies you get, the artifact creature, it's not a token, it's a creature. Has all these different subtypes. It can swing, it can swing, because it's a 1/1. It already has some juice on it. So what a whacked out card. Like, I mean, Ornithopter's nice. It's a 0/1 that flies, but this is very similar to like how the coolness factor. Just love it. And there's like in sheer power level, Sylvan Library. I don't see a world where we're not just getting this in our hand pretty early and just taking all the cards, just hitting, taking that life loss and just getting cards into our hand. It's just very important. So a very important card for us. Ragavan, just a very nice hand to have in your opener. What a sight to see in your opening hand to really get that generation going and getting treasures accumulated. I think it's just a very, very cool card, Ragavan. Obviously very powerful and expensive. There's our little bird of paradise here. Just a nice little mana acceleration. Ornithopter, we kind of discussed these 0-mana cards that can, and this is just an insane card too. It's an 0/2. The toughness is kind of sneaky, huh? 0-mana 0/2 flyer. What a bizarre card. Just super powerful, obviously. And part of a lot of, some of the more older formats, staples for different types of powerful decks, right? Tyrant's Familiar. This card is just, I've seen this played against me, and the day it was played against me, I was like, God dang, that card is a house. Make sure you have your commander on the battlefield. When this thing attacks, it does 7 damage to a unsuspecting creature that your opponent controls. So, like, if there's a problematic commander on the battlefield, you just fly in haste. Tyrant's Familiar comes down and just blasts it. What a cool card. All right, we got Chisgoria, the chisel. So, Chisgoria is just another cool dragon that has affinity for artifacts. This is like kind of one of like maybe considering like a tutor target if you're kind of running out of gas. You have lots of artifacts and you can cast it. It has this kind of the steep red mana, 3 red mana. But we can make that happen, and I like it because it swings and we get to look through our... and let's just look at the top 5 and we can play that certain card and has affinity for artifacts. So very cool card too. Chisgoria. Ancient Copper Dragon, just a whacked out dragon. Yeah, I really went out all out on this one. So I got all like the pretty gnarly dragons in here. This one just makes a million treasures for 6 of the low cost of 6 mana. Just like this is just like a $60 card. I mean, some of these cards I just have to like name the price tag and you kind of get an idea how good they are. Sticky Fingers, just a very cool card for low mana swingers. Just pop on the Sticky Fingers and get Menace. Very nice. This card is fantastic, right? Yeah, Sticky Fingers. And if it dies, the creature dies, you get to draw a card, so you get that gas back. It's just a stupid cool card. Haywire Might. These are just kind of our nice little utility artifacts we have at the one spot. We have like Bomat Courier in here. Hope of Girapur, similar on that kind of 1 mana train. Very cool utility artifacts. Kind of like lets us move out of our color pie and maybe play some interaction that maybe our opponents aren't expecting. Sword of the Animus, just a cool card to get our lands going. And it's an equipment to sink in with Meria. We have like all the nice and staple interaction like Vandablast, Blasphemous Act, Beast Within, Chaos Warp. We made room for all those. We didn't skimp on any of that. We even added a Spiteful Banditry to like kind of really get in there if we have to. Soul Ring. Before that, Delighted Halfling, just another mana dork. Rishkar's Expertise. This just gives us a lot of, all these cards make the cut, right? You know, it's the Sword, Beast Within. These are staples here. Elvish Mystic, and then back to turn Timber Symbiosis. So far so good. All right. Let's just try to roll through this. You'll be seeing some like kind of the staples here. This card, Swashbuster Extraordinaire, is just my fave. It's very good with Kiki Jiki too, the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Creating those like treasures and like giving our creatures double strike at will by sacrificing a treasure. Just great synergy for our deck. And it's a dragon. So it's great with our Invasion of Tarkir in the opener. Just a very interesting, cool cards that we have in here. Esika's Chariot, very cool artifact vehicle on the 4 spot. We like that a lot. We don't have many 4 spots, you know, like we have but they're strong. They're very strong. Like Esika's Chariot. We have a Chandra in here as well. Spiteful Banditry, Phyrexian Walker, Lightning Greaves. Oh, I love these Emerald Medallions. We have the Ruby Medallion, Emerald Medallion. So there are signets. Like they take the place of like an Arcane Signet in a Fellwar Stone because they reduce our commander. They serve that function to cast our commander. And then when Maria's on the battlefield, they serve the same function of reducing cost by 1 and tapping with Maria to get that additional mana surge. So it's basically just a signet on steroids for us. Llanowar Elves, Portal Type for Phyrexia, just a huge, crazy artifact that can just win us the game for 9 mana, which is very nice. You want to be winning at 9 mana if you cast a card, and you want it to have a lot of impact, and Portal Phyrexia does that. Sensei's Divine on Top, also very good. It's going to go, Sensei's Divine on Top will go well with our Doors of Durin, Sword of Fire and Ice. Just another cool sword that we have in this deck. Those swords give pro red, pro green, I think. Or no, so Sword of Forge and Frontiers, pro red, pro green. Sword of Fire and Ice, pro white, pro blue. Protection from blue, protection from red. They serve similar functions. Return of the Wild Speaker. These are like with Rishkar's Expertise, just help us gain a lot of cards. These are all staples for like, you know, green decks. And Gruul decks, red and green. So Chandra, here's our Torch. Such a good card. Such a crazy ram card. I guess like I was thinking of a card like what this describes as Key to the Archive. If any of you play like Arena, like Historic Brawl, that kind of card gives me the like vibes of this card. Like a 4 mana and then it activates and it adds 2. Like a 4 mana rock basically that adds 2 and can also pivot to draw you an extra card a turn. And then it has an ultimate. It's just everything you want to be, right? I'd say so. Swiftfoot Boots, I got that along with Lightning Greaves. There's the Beamtown Beatstick that hits the battles. You see the text there. That you just hit a combat, or you hit the player or the battle, and you make a treasure. What a sweet freaking card. And you get Menace. Woo baby. 1-0 in Menace. So you're going to be connecting. Here is our Timmy card, the Doors of Durin. I've had this work out in very fun ways, so I'm going to stick with it and let it ride out, because there is some very surprising moments where you maybe think that you're behind, and then you pop this card down and you just swing, and maybe you hit an old Gnawbone, maybe you hit an Ancient Copper Dragon, maybe you hit one of your very strong dragons up top, and then the game changes, right? So that's what I love. I love that kind of like surprise, and there's not much of that in Magic. And it's like that risk reward type of deal. And this is on the very risky side. It could be a complete dud, you know, but at least in Meria, it will act as a mana rock at the very worst. or as for our impulse drawing. So let's be honest, I think it's going to be its best look will be with Meria. And it also has elf text. So if we do hit a dragon with Meria on the battlefield, it will have Hexproof when it's swinging. Here's Finhorn Elves. This is just another dork, Mishra's Bauble. So we were talking about that earlier, like our 0 mana. There's Boseiju, the Cavernhorn Dragon. Yeah, we went all out on this deck. We have all the big staples in here. So very, very excited. Yeah, you can see it's just, this is my first deck I made as a commander, and it's gonna, you can see like it's just kind of, I think it's kind of exhausted itself, where it's just kind of like, basically it has all the very powerful cards in it, and I'm pretty happy with it as it is. Here's Dragon Tempest. This is just a very cool card that's going to give all our dragons haste, and some of our dragons need haste. Like, it will benefit them to have haste. Especially Ancient Copper Dragon, Ancient Bronze Dragon, those Savage Ventmaw. Those dragons really want to be hasty. There's the card right there, the card of the hour. I'll be honest, like I bought this card and I started building Meria dragons like based upon this, and then the dragon power level was so high that I cut it in favor of all these very strong dragons. But I ended up watching some Croaky's videos lately, and he was playing this, and I believe standard, and he was really showing just, once this thing flips, it's just, it can flip early, and then you can really kind of have some board control when you're swinging with the Savage Ventmaw, which is very nice, right? You can hit some mana dorks or maybe some two power commanders if they're out there. And if you have additional dragons, you can do more damage. So, and this with Terror of the Peaks is just such a cool card. Like this thing, you flip the battle, this thing comes on the battlefield, you cast it, it's 4 damage to anything like immediately with the Terror of the Peaks on the board. And then you're swinging, and then you're doing like more and more damage every turn. There's the Ruby Medallion, we kind of discussed this. Bomat Courier here, Goldvine Pick, the Cityscape Leveler. We got some Wooded Foothills here. We have all the cool cards. Vivian. Vivian's going to look good here, especially with Ragavan. It's just, if I can accelerate early enough, I can really take over a game pretty fast and get some really, really strong dragons on the battlefield really fast. So we love Vivian. Commander's Plate, just probably one of the best equipment for Meria. It just pays for itself, like it pays part of its casting cost. So it's basically an equip 2 for a 3/3 protection from all the other colors, not in our color identity. Just a stupid strong card. Terrastodon, this is just another card that just swings the, it's not a dragon, but it's just like the Leveler, just a very cool card. And it takes care of our opponent's stuff. Balefire Dragon, this is again, just kind of wipes our opponent's boards. And Last March of the Ends, Urza's Bauble, Ancient Bronze Dragon, and of course the Howling Mine. So that's it. We're going to be calling this one the Meria Equipment Stompy Dragon build. And that's it. So that's the deck. I'll probably put it on Moxfield. And that'll be like my social media thing, and I'll be putting all the links, and maybe you'll see it, and maybe you'll get some ideas, and maybe you'll go to your LGS and pick up a nice Meria foil for like 45 cents, and pick up some sweet equipments, some super 20-cent equipments, and get some cool Gruul staples and green staples and scary monsters, because that's where she is. This is just where the direction of the deck took me, and it took me a little more into a more expensive route. This was not like the original build. I had much more affordable creatures in here. I did have strong creatures, but they weren't, I would say, on the power level as some of these dragons are, and where it's kind of become. So I'd say both versions were fun, and maybe those older versions were better, but this is kind of what makes me happy. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will post this video as soon as possible. Thanks. Goodbye.